No, just few good words.
Saying, don't give us no, but can you give us a template, please? Because we want to stand out. So everybody can use the template, so we'll stand out.
Okay, so that will be safe for everyone.
Well, look, right. One reason why you don't want to be using that is because OET on purposely uses, especially now, they have different, the writing tasks are not the same on purpose because they found that everybody writes the same thing. Template. I am referred to, for your further management and care would be highly appreciated. Great. The users, so what you have to do, right? You have to go straight into the task, right? First, don't look at the actual notes. Go straight into the task, right? What do they want you to do? Look at the language. Do they want you to refer, request for advice? Do they want you to provide you to ask that person to give information, to assess, to urgently take care of something? And, see what it is exactly they want you to say. And then you have to put yourself into the shoes of the reader, right? If you were the person you are writing to, what would you want? What's the most important information that you would expect for you to do your job? You don't have to say, I would greatly appreciate. They are going to do it regardless because it's their job.
Absolutely.
They're not doing you a personal favor.
Absolutely.
They are not. So there's no need to.
Yeah, they're there to do that job. They're meant to do that. Yes.
There's no, so you don't need to be gratefully appreciative. They're going to do it. That's what they get paid for.
True.
So what I'm saying is these expressions, I wouldn't use it. If I were writing to some, like a manager of a bank, I would say, I would gratefully appreciate if you would give me a mortgage. I would do that. I would make a request and that's basically it. So you've got to be careful. Every letter is unique. This is the reason why lots of people don't get good scores, because they don't treat every letter, right. Again, I'm not saying it's doctors, all examination takers look for an easy way out. Whether it's the IELTS test, the OET, the PTE, etc. Right? Everybody, wants to have an easy approach, so they try and create a standard answer that they can use. But every writing task is unique on purpose because it's a test. They want to find out what you can do. They don't want to find out, can you regurgitate a standard expression that everybody else can? That's not what they are trying to find out. This is the difference between A and B, between 380 and 400 plus. That's, well, there's other things too, but that is one of the differences.
Agreed.
If you see any band A for 50 plus examples, it stands out because it's unique. They're not repeating the same language, the same expressions as everybody else. Now, I know that for most people, an A, though not impossible, might be a little bit hard to achieve, and you will be okay with a B. But I always think that for any examination, you need to aim as high as possible. Otherwise, why take it? Why be content with a B? why not aim as high as possible? That's just what I think anyway. So using standardized responses will not get you an A. Now, I know some of you may say, well, I don't need one. Okay, that's fine. That's your business. But I'm just saying, standardized responses are not good in any examination. You only get a middling score if you do that. And again, if you are content with having a middling score, okay, that's your business. So that being said, let's get on with anything else.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's okay, well, anytime. So somebody said, yes, it's a polite request. Well, yeah, we need to be, but I'm just trying to be as honest as possible, right? If you want a higher score, don't use these standardized expressions. If you're content with being B, a mediocre, again, that's your business. Okay, anyway, now let's have a look. So let me sort out somebody, let me just check in the group. Right, I'll turn that off. So I've got 4 letters for today. I didn't choose these. It was Dr. J. He sent me these, and we'll take a look at them. I may have time to do some other letters later this afternoon. We'll see. So hang on a second. Let me. All right, I'll put the. Come here. Isn't this working? Right, I'll put the chat box on here. Then and participants. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll take a look at these in turn, and then if anybody has any requests, you can either raise your hand and I will turn your microphone on and you can speak, or you can type it in the chat box. Okay. Now, I haven't had time to look at these notes yet because I just had a lesson, so I haven't had a look at it yet. So let's have a look. So first things first, we want the task. I'll get rid of that. That's something else somebody sent. Where is it? Where is the second picture? Seminar notes. Sorry, I've got files everywhere. Where are these? Right, here we go. Here's the notes. Let's have a look at this, if you can see this. So, right. You are her GP, Dr. Black. Write a referral letter, gynaecologist and specialist IVF. So that's the toe. Okay, that's the task. Referral letter. So Mrs. Conway and her husband, trying to conceive without success. She had a abortion 10 years ago. Her husband doesn't know. Okay, so she comes on her own at first. Went for 3 years, pregnancy, regular periods, no STDs. She's overweight. You do a smear test. It's been 18 months. Further investigation appropriate. Okay. So she doesn't want you to tell him about the abortion. Okay, she comes with a husband. No significant problem. Refuses to be examined. Semen analysis. Okay, right. Let's have a look then. So I'll put the comments on. Take a look at this. Mrs. Conway, husband, Mr. William. Well, Mr. William. You don't really need that. For your further assessment and advice, we're going to refer you to conceive. Okay, well, why are you using the Sir name here and his first name, Mr. Conway, Mr. and Mrs. Conway? Why are you doing that? It is Karen and William, yeah. So why are you doing that, Mr. and Mrs. Conway? So to shorten this, I know some might not like it, but this is the convention. Mr. and Mrs. Conway have been married for the last 3 years, and they had already tried for pregnancy in 2006. And they had already tried. I don't know why you would use past perfect there, make it present perfect. And they have already tried. Are they already tried present? No, I would make it simple past. Yeah, get rid of that because we know when they had pregnancy in 2006. However, they, don't forget your pronoun, they were unsuccessful. She has had a history. Well, she, again, I don't know why you're using present perfect because we know when. So she has a history. So if we know when the event occurred, you can use the simple past. She has a history of terminal pregnancy 10 years ago, about which his husband, her husband, is ignorant. Apart from that, why is it past perfect? She has taken all contraceptive pills in the past. Don't forget your articles. Okay, initially Mrs. Conway came with concerns regarding her incapability or inability. Incapability, probably I would just say inability to conceive after 18 months. Well, it's not a trial. A trial is something else. After trying for 18 months. Okay. That time, that BMI was high, 28 was high, 28. Combat, another systemic examination was unremarkable to other systemic. Well, it wasn't just one, it was other things. So that was unremarkable. Okay. As a result, blood tests were organised in order to monitor hormone levels, which showed borderline ovulation test. Moreover, I advised you just advise A. I advised a complete checkup of her husband as well to her the abnormality, but she was reluctant to the pregnancy be disclosed to her husband. Okay. On today's visit, she came with her husband, works away from his home. She came with her husband who works away from home. Well, for 2 weeks every month, therefore he was not. Now, do we really need this information right from the start? I mean, that should have maybe been over here, you know, because it's okay. Well, okay. So your husband who works away from home for 2 weeks every month, therefore was not much concerned. Therefore, he was not much concerned about her getting pregnant. At first, he refused an examination, and nevertheless, he agreed. Well, hang on. At first, he refused, and nevertheless, he agreed. Well, that doesn't add up. At first, he refused an examination, semen analysis. However, he later agreed, because that doesn't mean what you think it does. However, later he agreed, and his semen analysis results are awaited. Why is it passive? And we are waiting for this semen analysis results. It's worth noting that Mrs. Conway has been explained about. I don't know why we would use present perfect in passive. It is worth noting that it has been explained. that. Right. Word order being explained to Mrs. Conway about having the low risk of infertility, considering that she's anxious and getting for specialist as her sister has had IVF recently. And that's relevant to her because of how? Okay, in light of the above, I believe you need your further assessment and measurement plan accordingly. Okay, so that's not so bad. Check the word count. 290. Yes, bit long. There's lots of details. We need to cut some of this stuff down. Some of the sentences here are 290 words. That's a little bit long. I'm sure we can lose a couple of sentences there. Okay, I'm going to put this open now. So, does anybody want to ask anything? Anybody got any questions? So, if anybody wants to make a comment, if you raise your hand, I'll turn your microphone on. Anybody got any comments? Anybody? Dr. Movie, she's back again. Oh, hello, Doc.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for being with us. I want to ask you, can we have a general, about the letter structure? Can we have a general lecture where we should use this present perfect tense to have an idea? Because daily we are watching, these tenses are not going to fit here. But if we will do one session one day, we will have an empirical picture.
What, you mean a seminar on grammar?
Yes, please.
Well, there's only, there's only 2 days left. I suppose we could maybe have a look at it, but there's lots of material available on the internet. There must be
a short lecture about, because in the letter we are only using few tenses like past simple, then this present perfect and past perfect rarely, but this present perfect, then present perfect, progressive, continuous. So we can have maybe in between this one Zoom session we have 2 parts, huh? Then one part we can do so people have idea why this is wrong. Sometimes we are doing this mistake again and again. We are using the same tense. Even there are some videos of.
Maybe I can do something. Make a video about it. So you're talking about, you're not clear on the difference between simple past, present perfect continuous, past perfect. Yeah.
Yes.
It's the past forms. Okay. Past perfect. In general terms, if you know when the past action occurred, it's simple past. If you don't know, it's unclear, indefinite, or it's not important. Also, you can use present perfect to form a passive. Then you can use it. So, for example, we spoke about this on Tuesday. We have already spoken about this. The first one, we know exactly when. The second, we don't. Maybe it's not important. Maybe we already know from the context. Yeah. So again, for example, we spoke about this on Tuesday. So we know exactly when that past action occurred.
Okay. Time with the time.
We have already spoken about this. There's no direct reference to when that past action occurred.
Okay. Yes,
presumably it's in the recent past. It could be farther back, but again, it depends on the overall context of a letter. If you refer to the point of time in the sentence or paragraph before, then it's obvious from the context. So it's not as easy as you think. Past perfect, as Shafak says, when you've got two past events, we want to know which was completed first. By the time I came home, the Zoom session had finished. So simple past and past perfect to indicate the sequence. This finished and then this finished. But we can talk about it. I'll just make a note of it. Past form.
Okay. And kindly about a little bit about adjectives and the use of indefinite adjectives like da and where we are using in medical.
Oh, article use. Articles,
yes.
yeah.
It's
Well,
not here. You can make a separate video for us. It will be very good and informative.
Articles. Well, yes, I do see lots of mistakes there. Okay, so
Thank you very much.
Past forms, articles. I'll have a think about it. I'll see if I can knock something up, make a video or two. Okay, very good. Now, Dr. Asghar wanted to, let me turn, okay, your microphone should be on now. Ahmad, did you want to ask?
Yes, yes. I'm asking about the template things you just said. I believe you just tell us that it will want to help us to achieve, in order to achieve a highest score in OET exam. So the letter in front of you, like using words like initial or on today's visit, it's something, it's word which we could say it's a common word we all use. Can we consider this word a template, or what do you think?
I'm not referring to individual words, because obviously that is not a template. All I mean is I see a lot of letters and I keep seeing the same expressions, the same sentences, time and time again. And the examiner has seen them too. So they know that it's a memorized sentence. They know that.
For instance,
I can't remember exactly, but it's always for your. I gratefully appreciate or something. Your further advice, management, or further assessment. It's the same. There's several sentences that I see. Maybe we'll see them here because we have a few more letters to have a look at. All I'm saying is, you know, every letter task should be approached in as if it were unique, and which they are trying to make it, because they know that there's a lot of material about on the internet now where people say, here's the template, you just do this, this. And that's one reason why people keep getting low marks, because they're not interpreting it on a case-by-case basis. They are just, you know, following a template, and the examiner, they are trained, they can see it. They can see that, yeah.
I see
anyway,
that.
yeah.
I see that.
That's okay. So we've got a question, Luada, if you want to ask, and then we'll...
Yeah, hello, Kevin. My question is that when we use have been, or means like she have been finished or she have finished, what's the difference between have been or?
Well, she had finished, that would be past perfect. She has finished is present perfect. So you would use she had finished as a sentence in conjunction with the secondary action, which would be in the simple past. So she
No.
had finished taking her OCP before trying to conceive. I don't know. So trying to conceive, that action started, and she stopped taking the pills before. So that indicates a sequence. If you say she has, so if it's only one connecting past and present, and we don't know exactly when, she has stopped taking OCP. We don't know exactly when, and it's only a singular.
Okay, when we use have been.
What?
Have been.
Have.
No, have
That
been.
sounds like a passive. She has been told, she has been informed. It's passive.
Okay.
Somebody has informed her, somebody has told her, but we don't know who performed the action, either because it's not important or because it's obvious from the context. So have plus been plus verb number 3, past participle, that's what you use to make a passive construction.
Okay, thank you.
Again, without having some kind of context, it's difficult to explain. So I think we'll maybe have to look at grammar. Maybe tomorrow, we'll see. Okay, I'm just make this a little bit bigger. Oh, only 10 minutes left. Oh, well, I've not got too much time. So, I want to refer Mrs Karen, why you don't use their first names. Mrs Conway, you don't use Karen. Mrs Conway. If it's an adult, you use their surname. But to a female, who is anxious regarding her ability to conceive, don't take 2 months for your further assessment and management. Now, okay. Now, I was just talking about this to a student before we started this. I don't think it's a good idea to split your sentence into, I'm writing to do this, and then the patient who is this, and then put for your further assessment and management at the end. Why don't you put it? He turned that off. So we know I'm writing to, how about that? It's a bit better. It's neater and tidier. And the request is right at the start. You know, the information's there. I'm writing to request your further assessment and management of who is this, and who is anxious regarding her ability to conceive despite trying for 18 months. This is a good expression. Somebody was asking me, can you tell us some good phrases and expressions? Well, I recommend that one. I'm writing to request your further assessment. So if I'm writing to refer and then having your further assessment and management as a separate sentence or at the end, put it at the start. So it's clear right from the start what it is you actually want. Okay, Mrs. Karen's past pregnancy insignificant, apart from having a termination, okay, which she did not reveal to her husband, Mr. Conway, or William, not Mr. William. Mr. Karen? Mr. Karen? Oh dear. Mrs. Conway presented at my clinic and reported, oh, your husband are healthy and mobility issues and able to conceive. No, she's not doing now, short sentence, moreover, she stopped taking the pill since May 2, 2006. So, right, so I would put that in, I would add that she's, or, so, although she and husband are healthy, I would reword this. I would reword it because it seems to be going all over. Let me turn the changes off. I would probably just presented, reported. Well, it's complaining. It's not a report. The report seems quite unemotional. I would like to report that I cannot have a baby. That's, you know, complained might be a better word. Right, complained of her inability to conceive despite her and her husband being healthy. So, to conceive despite her husband being healthy, and husband being healthy, and having stopped her OCP. Okay, so you can see we've managed to get this into all this information into a sentence, instead of having it this and this and going on and on and on and on and on. It's because if we check the word count, let's have a look. 257, that's too long. The previous one was 290, too long. So you have to get used to this, squeezing things in, making it more concise. Okay, Mrs Conway, my husband, inability to conceive, healthy, and then we stopped at OCP. If you want to put in 2006, you can do. The examination was remarkable, therefore she was advised to come on with her husband for the next visit. Okay, Mr. and Mrs Conway. See, oops. Conway seemed healthy. Furthermore, has mentioned, why would you use present perfect when we know when the action occurred? Today. So that's one example there. You've got present perfect when we know from the context when the action occurred. So simple past. Mrs. Conway, healthy. Furthermore, to what? So we don't need that. Mr. Conway, or William, Mr. Conway mentioned that he is a moderate drinker and stays away from the family on the job purpose. You mean works away from, you mean, and works away from home. Oops. Works away from home. Hence, he was not worried about that his wife he's not worried that his wife's not pregnant yet and has been reluctant to be, well, and is, because you spoke to him today for the first time, and is reluctant to be investigated. However, he agreed to go see the analysis as Karen insisted, not insisted him, Karen insisted, although I reassured, well, them, because they are both there, I reassured them that the possibility for her to get pregnant is high, and risk factors make it up to 2 years to conceive. That's a bit of a long sentence, She anxiously requested a specialist consultation. Advice on losing weight and has been provided by whom? Was it you? And why are you using the passive? You provided it. Okay, they shouldn't possibly get better sign. I also gave advice on losing weight and I gave advice on losing weight and general sexual advice. I don't know. So we don't need the passive voice there. Also, she's taking if I can't resonate. People appreciate as you think. Appropriate. Okay, okay. So this is not bad. It's a bit like the previous one. 290 words. That was far too. Something happened there. We seem to have had a break. So this meeting will end in a second. So what I will do, I will start a new one and I'll put the link in the group. Okay, so I'll see you in a moment or two.